Good morning, Spiritual Life Center. Welcome to the SLC Sunday Experience. We're so glad you're here. We want you to know your soul is welcome here. We're going to sing about that.
That's right. You're in the right place at the right time, just where you are meant to be, whether you're live streaming or you're here with us in person. So glad you chose to be here with us today. And are you ready to sing about it? Yes. Here we go.
I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I am meant to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I am meant to be. In the right place. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I am meant to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I am meant to be. Oh, my soul. Oh, my soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here.
Please join me in turning around and saying good morning to those that are live streaming. You're in the right place at the right time.
I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I am meant to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I am meant to be. Oh, my soul. Oh, my soul is welcome here. Yes, it is. Oh, my soul is welcomed here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome. Oh, my soul is welcome. Oh, my soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome.
I'm getting the
here.
message.
I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. My soul is welcome here.
Come on, put your hands together.
My soul is welcome.
If you know that you're welcome.
My soul is welcome.
'Cause everybody's welcome.
My soul is welcome.
No matter what color, what culture, sexual orientation, political or religious affiliation. One God, many paths, everybody's welcome here.
I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome
Are we having fun yet?
Because their souls are welcome here, the All Souls Unity Church.
It sounds like a group.
Yes, okay.
Sounds like a song group. Sounds exciting. But first of all, we want to welcome you, and we want to welcome you in the warm and loving, exciting and expansive space here that we call Spiritual Life Center. We are a mission-centric community, and we know that whether you are here for the first time or whether you are live streaming, whether you've been here all along, you are all family, and you are all here by divine appointment. And that divine appointment is a beautiful appointment. That divine appointment is about transforming lives as we all love, serve, and remember together. And so thank you for being here. We also know that you remembered to silence or put on stun anything that rings or chimes or beeps. And if it goes off, there will be a grading system for your ringtone. I just made that up. Anyway.
Well, in that space in which we've created a clearing for the presence of pure being, let us take a moment and commune with this presence. And remember that we're living and moving and having our beingness in something that is beyond words, but so real. Something that is never, ever away from us because we are one with it. We call it God. It's called by many different names. But our job is simply to call it forth as the activity of our awareness, our consciousness. So we're grateful and thankful that we have the opportunity to let God be God in us. In every thought we have, every word we speak, every action that we take. And collectively, we know that as we are all on the same page, coming together, knowing that where two or more come together for a divine and perfect spiritual idea, it cannot help but show itself in this world. So we go forth anchoring these ideas in our life so we can say that when you see me, you see the presence that sent me, and you see our world at its highest and best. And so it is, and so we let it be. Amen.
And so talking about going forth with zeal, we have an amazing WOW program for you this Wednesday. It is going to be led by Celia Coughlin-Cir, the very, very being, along with James, that brought us the Badass series. So she's going to present the Big Snooze.
Revisited.
The Badass Revisited. So it's going to be a powerful evening. It's going to be a fun evening, and it's this Wednesday. So you can join the community salad at 6, and then you can join us for the program at 7. And there were a lot of people that went through that book study. You and Celia led that, and it
We
was
had a great time.
quite an enthusiastic crowd. I was searching for the right word there. And so we have, speaking of amazing groups, we have a brand new group. It's a group of emerging souls. It's called Emerging Wisdom. There is a collection of advocates whose mission is to empower evolving generations by providing a safe and spiritually restorative space. So they're going to be transforming the community into one that inspires a mindful practice of incorporating emerging wisdom. The emerging wisdom is not driven by political motives, but by an acknowledgement of the need for the betterment of all of humanity. They are bringing a vibrant new benefit opportunity called Voices Unheard. And it'll be musical performances, visual and artists and vendors, and it's happening right here Friday, July 25th from 5 to 10 p.m. And there's little flyers here at the cashier table, and our own Sasha Alexander back there in the sound booth. Turn around and give her a peek. Give us a wave, Sasha. She's organizing this. She's part of this group called the Emerging Wisdom, and she has more information for you on this amazing opportunity.
Yes, if you want more information, see Sasha.
See Sasha.
Yes, good stuff. And we have the Q Effect. We had a great class. I
We
understand you had a
did.
great
How
class
many have
yesterday.
taken the Q Effect here? How many have taken it? We had 38 people together yesterday, beautiful souls. And I cannot say enough about how it touches my heart that there is such courage and such deep vulnerability in this community. And we certainly transform our experience here together when we use these tools. So thank you all for those of you who held the space for us and those of you who participated. And the excitement is one of the co-founders of the Q process, Dr. Rima Bonario, will be here at SLC with us for a 3-day program. That is August 3rd, 4th, and 5th. There's a workshop series on Friday and Saturday, and then she'll be our Sunday speaker. She's going to do a powerful presentation about how she came upon the Q process in the evolution of her spirituality. And then on Sunday afternoon, she and TJ will offer a workshop on the 5 personality principles, and that is a standalone event. You don't have to go to the Friday and Saturday to go to the Sunday workshop, or you can go to all of them. They're going to be amazing. So all of the information is on your pink insert in your bulletin about that.
And you've been hearing from Elaine, the Emerging Wisdom and New Earth Expo that is coming up on August 11th and August the 12th. And just want to share a few of the people that's going to be there. You know, Kimberly Meredith, some of you may know her. She's a magnificent medical intuitive. Dr. Brenda Wade, who is an expert on relationships. And Patricia Albert is really, I think, bringing the next stage of spirituality, the really cutting edge of where we're heading collectively. And of course, you know Mary Youngblood, who's been a Grammy Award winning artist, and a guy named James Trapp. And that's going to be the 11th and 12th. And there's a link on our website. You can get a free pass for the events, for the free talks and lectures. And also you can get a discount for all the paid events. There's 30% discount. So just go to our website to get more information. And a reminder, on the 12th, rather than having our Sunday service here, it's going to be at...
Where is it going to be?
Where's it going to be
Does
at?
anybody?
Ground Plaza.
At what time? Are we
All
going
right.
to be here? No. What day? August 12th. Okay.
All right.
Just checking.
All right. So very good. Look there, and we're going to have a great time on those 2 days for the Emerging Wisdom and New Earth Expo.
Absolutely. And, right now we want to bring someone up. This community tithes 10% off the top of all of your love offerings out into the community to support those organizations that help clothe, feed, and educate those less fortunate. And we happen to have a beautiful soul with us today. We welcome Emerald Carroll. She is from the California Care Force, and she is their volunteer coordinator and outreach coordinator. So she has a few words.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for having me here today. It's wonderful to be a part of such a positive day. So like she said, I am from California Care Force. We provide free medical, dental, and vision care to those in need. But more importantly, I'm here to say thank you for the generous donation that your organization has made toward ours. You are helping us provide those services to people in need. We are completely volunteer ran. It's all volunteer doctors, dentists, and optometrists. We have about 600 to 1,100 people who volunteer at our 3-day clinics. Just thank you so much for every dollar that's donated to California Care Force. That allows us to provide up to $8 worth of critical medical, visual, or dental care. So just a giant thank you for helping us help others.
Great.
And if you want any more information about what we do or want to get involved more, I will have a table out there with flyers and business cards. So thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Emerald.
Yes. And now we're going to have a few words from Jeanette. She's going to share about the chaplains.
Prayer chaplain opportunities.
Yes.
Exactly. Yes, prayer chaplain opportunities. We're starting our new chaplain year, and we're looking for people that might be interested in becoming chaplains this year. I think I'm on year 7 or 8 now, so I would have to say I'm a chaplain addict. So, anyway, but it has agreed with me. If you have to have an addiction, being a chaplain's a good one. So, anyway, but I do have flyers out at the chaplain table out here for anybody that thinks they might be interested. You can learn what the responsibilities of being a chaplain is. But what I'm really here to speak about is the way it's helped my life, and that's that being a chaplain has really given me the opportunity in a structured way to just improve my own spirituality and become closer to what I call the divine source, spirit, whatever that is that's greater than us. So anyway, if you feel the calling, we do have an orientation in a couple of weeks on August 5th, Sunday, between services at 10:20, and on Wednesday, August 8th, early at 6:15 p.m. So anyway, give it a thought. Take care.
Thank you.
I just realized there's probably a need for a new 12-step group here, and it would be ACCA, Adult Children of Chaplains Anonymous. Anyway, no, I'm kidding. So, how many of you know what Faith in Action is? Okay, how many have participated in Faith in Action? Faith in Action is one of the coolest things we do here at Spiritual Life Center, and we've done it for years. It is our annual fall small group in-home book study, and we pick a book every year, and James weaves a whole series of talks around each chapter, and we'll begin in October with the kickoff, and the book is The Wisdom of the Shamans by Don Jose Ruiz, who will be here to do wonderful events, and you're going to hear more about that the first weekend in October. But right now, we want to do a call for artists, and Brenda Bowles is going to be in the courtyard. There is an insert, a yellow insert in your bulletin. It is the call for artists on one side, and what the heck is Faith in Action on the other? So you can find out how you can participate, either as an artist, as a home host, facilitator, or as a participant. It's a wonderful program, a great way to deepen spiritually in community and create connections at the same time. It's a win-win, win-win, win-win-win.
And speaking of many, many wins, we want to acknowledge two groups of people here, the ambassadors and the prayer chaplains that are here this morning, if they would stand. And as you know, the ambassadors are wearing the rainbow ribbons, and they will share with you where things are at Spiritual Life Center, how you can get involved, and give you a special Spiritual Life Center welcome. So we thank them for their presence and the consciousness that they provide. And of course, the chaplains, as was indicated by Jeanette, provide the prayer for us each and every week here at Spiritual Life Center. As you go through your life's journey, sometimes ups, sometimes downs, that they will help you remember who and what you really are to bring you through the other side. So we thank the chaplains, and they're available immediately after the service to pray with you or in the courtyard.
And if you're here for the first time, in just a minute, we're going to ask you to raise your hand. We're going to give you a welcome card. And that welcome card, we'd love for you to fill it out. It's a great way to connect here at SLC. You can fill that out and drop it in the offering basket or take it to the welcome table.
So if you're here for the very first time, any first timers here this morning, just raise your hand nice and high, and we'll love to give you a gift. We're going to give you a chalet, and we request that you just wear that so you can get that special Spiritual Life Center welcome. And on the chalet, there's a tag, and that tag is a great reminder of who and what we are. And it says, "We believe we are spiritual beings having a human experience. And there are many paths to the one God." So we thank you for joining us on your pathway and realizing your spiritual growth, development, and unfoldment. And we thank you so much for your presence. And now we have an opportunity to welcome and greet our first timers as well as each other. Say, you look marvelous. Thank you so much for being here today.
We invite you to stay standing. And before we get into our group song, this is kind of a little impromptu, just for a second. I would like to draw your attention to this lovely lady. Guess what? It's her birthday. And this is one thing that Paula does really well. She loves everyone so much, makes us feel all invited and accepted. So yeah, I know you don't want us to sing the birthday song, so we'll dedicate this one to you and say happy birthday, Paula, because all we really need to do is love one another. All we can really do is love one another. All we can really do is love one another. Let me hear you sing. All we can really do, all we can do is love one another. Yeah, yeah, yeah. All we can really do is love one another. Take it up now. All we can really do is love one another. Yeah. All
Actually, we have some things to say. So, for several weeks, for months now, we've been hearing about the Q process, what an awesome process that is, and that we have many people. I believe I heard yesterday, I took the class again yesterday, and I heard Louise say 180 people have taken the class. 200 people have taken this class at this point, which is pretty awesome, which means we are just transforming into an awesome, more awesome community. And we have gone through a process where we looked at our shadow individually and as a community, and we are now speaking our shadow side, acknowledging and accepting and embracing that, as well as celebrating our noble, awesome magnificence. So let us speak that together. Please have compassion for us when we are being not enough, distrusting, grieving, blaming, powerless, or fearful. Please, because this is who we have come here to be. Inspired, in integrity, joy-filled, compassionate, unstoppable, generous, transformational. Feels good. Feels good to speak that. And now, let us speak our vision statement together. Spiritual Life Center is a loving, vibrant family that welcomes home all people and accepts everyone, no exceptions. Weaving ancient spiritual traditions with emerging wisdom, we cultivate a spiritual deepening with the divine, each other, and our planet. Now we will prepare for our meditation by singing this beautiful chant together, which also happens to be our mission statement. Why have we come to Earth? Do you remember? To love, serve, and remember.
Please join us in singing.
Why have we come to earth? Do you remember? Why have we taken birth? Why have we come
To love,
to love, serve and remember, to love, serve and remember. Why have we come to earth? Do you remember? Do you remember? Why have we taken birth? Why have we come? Why have we come to love, serve and remember, to love, serve and remember, to love, serve and remember, to love, serve and remember.
Relax into your breath. Let your shoulders drop. And on the next inhale, let any tension drain from your body. Melt into your seat. And let your natural breathing take you deeper into relaxation. Allow yourself to drift into a light daydream. In this daydream, there is a very small circle on the ground in front of you. It emits a soft rose-colored light. Next to the circle is a brightly lettered sign that says, "Circle of Love, come on in." But the circle is very small, and only 1 foot will fit inside. So you put their foot in the circle, and it immediately expands. And you bring your other foot in, and the circle expands again. You are standing in the middle of a soft rose-colored circle. The soft light rises up and softly, gently encircles your entire body. It pulses with an energy that you can only describe as divine love. Your heart leaps and you just bask in this love. But it is too much to contain. So you invite 1 or 2 people or animals that you love into the circle with you. And as each one joins, the circle expands to include them. The light becomes a deeper red as your combined love pulses inside the circle. And this feels so wonderful. And so now you think maybe I should invite some other people, the ones I'm not so close to. And you open up and invite them into your circle. And again, the circle expands and becomes more intense as your hearts join in the communion of spirit. And in this moment, you feel so free, yet so connected. And you know now the next thing to do is to invite anybody you consider an enemy into your circle. And as each person joins, the circle expands. The light becomes a deeper and deeper red. Polished by the sun, the light swirls around all of you in a dance of pure love. It waltzes through your minds and bodies and spirits. And then you just let go and open to everyone, to all beings everywhere. The circle and the light expand beyond your vision in all directions. All sense of separation dissolves, and you float in a sea of ruby red love in the silence. And as you take a breath and begin to reabsorb the light and the love into your physical body, receive this blessing. Oh, my beloved, love made you. Love sustains you. When you express yourself, you can only express love. You are the instrument of love. Remember this always.
Is any problem too great? Just takes one step of faith, and mountains will fall. I offer you the truth, and if you need it, love will be there for you. Love will never put you down, lifts you up when you're bound. Just give love a chance. If there's any fear at all, come closer and see. This love won't harm you. This love remains true. This love is for you, not against you. This love won't fail. There's no need for being lonely. Such a love will never leave. Just listen to me. Love will fill the empty spaces. Turn around and see who's been there all the time, waiting to come into your life. Oh, this love won't harm you. Oh no, it won't. This love inspires you. This love remains true. This love is for. This love is not against you. Not against you. This love won't fail. No. This love won't harm you. God's love won't harm you. No. This love inspires you. Always inspires you. This love is for you, not against you. Not against you. This love won't fail. Love is kind. It doesn't boast or seek the light. Love will be your friend to the very end. Love is always there, and love always cares. This love won't harm you. Oh, it never harms you, no. This love remains. This love always remains true. This love is always for you, not against you. Not against you. This love, this love, this love, 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 love. Oh, this love never harms you, no. This love is This love is for you, not against you, not against you. This love won't fade. This love won't harm you. Ooh, this love is true. This love is for you, not against you. This love won't fade.
Oh, that was good. Yes. I was reading recently a book, I think it was on mastery. And the author, I think his name is Robert Greene, was asked a question that if you had maybe only 5 minutes or a few moments to explain to someone how to become a master of a topic or a master of a craft or a subject, what would be the most important thing for them to know? And what he said to them, in that, when you want to master something, unless you understand this one thing, you'll never really be a master. He said our minds or our brains are much better when they're emotionally engaged. That when we want to really learn, when we want to really master something, when we're motivated, we get better at it. We really begin to make it part of our life. And he gave an example that reminded me of how true it is in my own experience. I remember when I was in high school, I had a teacher and taught Spanish. And she was saying, if you really want to learn Spanish, just go to this part of town, because in South Florida, there's some parts of town where they only spoke Spanish. Just go there and just immerse yourself in there, and you'll learn Spanish. But there was something else I think was more powerful than that. There happened to be a girl in my class who spoke nothing but Spanish. And I wanted to be impressive to her. And I liked her a whole lot. Needless to say, that was very motivating for me. And so I still even remember the lessons, maybe that week that we were learning. This didn't last very long, puppy love, you know how it goes. ¿A dónde vas ahora, Juan? A la clase de español. Tú estudias español. Nosotros también. Vamos a la biblioteca. So I still remember that stuff. I just embodied all of that because I was motivated. So in essence, what Robert was saying, that if you really want to master something, you really want to connect with something, fall in love with it. Fall in love. Of course, love is more than an emotion. Charles Fillmore, the co-founder of Unity, who was really a mystic, they had a book about him that said the modern day mystic. And this is what he said about love itself. He said love was that essence, that being that binds together all of humanity. He said it was the greatest harmonizing principle known to humankind. And so we're in this second week of a series based on St. Francis' prayer, Make Me an Instrument. And a couple weeks ago, we talked about peace. And of course, last week, we had Richard Burdick, for those who were here last week. Do you remember Richard last week? He was awesome. Now, Richard didn't explicitly talk about, the topic of being an instrument, but he was an instrument of the Spirit of the living God through his message and his music, because he instructed us, he uplifted us, he inspired us while he was here. And so we're taking that idea and we're taking the St. Francis prayer. And that second line of the prayer says, where there is hatred, let me sow love. And Eckhart Schwarren, who wrote about this prayer, and he said that we should take this passage of St. Francis and read through it every time we're going through a meditative experience, and do that every single day. And as we begin to embody all of those principles, something within us will change. Something within us will transform us. And he says those words in that passage really serve as a blueprint for making our life a blessing to everyone that passes us. So lots of definitions of what God is. Lots of attributes of what God is. It's really beyond words. We're trying sometimes put something that is ineffable, that is beyond our human understanding, and put it in human language. But there's probably one attribute, one definition that most people believe in and agree with, and that is God is love. God is love. And of course, we're here to be the instruments of this presence that we call God, so that we can live our life according to that divine purpose. And that's what we mean when we say that we're made in the image and likeness and out of God. We're not saying that we look like any being. Our real identity are those attributes. So we never want to think again that the image and likeness of God somehow means we look like some big being in the sky. It simply means that we're revealing these infinite qualities in and as our life. A quality that's never been born, never died. It's the image and likeness of God. That's who we really are. And as an instrument of the Spirit of the living God, we're here to reveal the glory, the name, the nature of this presence. And if we want to really have an affirmation every day that reminds us of this, we simply say, I'm here for the reveal the glory of God. I'm here to reveal the glory of God. I'm here to, no matter what comes up in our life, good stuff, challenging stuff, okay, I'm here to reveal the glory of God. I'm here to reveal the glory of God. You know, I mentioned an article a few weeks ago that I'd read about some scientists who had made this breakthrough where they took certain cells of the body temple and in the heart, and they converted it into musical notes, and they realized that the great love songs of history were already embodied within our body temple. And I also, I didn't mention that in that article, they said they also took the DNA of a mouse and they translated that into music. And there were variations of the song, Three Blind Mice came up. Hey, it was in the article, I look for information wherever I can find it. And then all the songs about mice came up as well. I never knew there were any other songs besides Three Blind Mice that came around. But anyway. The point is, if there is a point, it's already within us. The music is already within us. In the same way, we want to listen for spirits, murmurs within all of us all of the time. This murmur that's advising us, that's consoling us, that's strengthening us with the endless wellspring of wisdom that's there. So when we hear that St. Francis line that says, where there's hatred, let me sow love. It is the assignment of our time. We need that more than ever. His Holiness the Dalai Lama indicated that compassion and love are really those qualities that once we embody them, they make us the radicals of our day. And it's not a simple platitude. It's not simply a nice thing to do. It's being able to see the potential within every individual that passes before us. Because if we stop seeing it in others, then we turn out the light within ourselves. Now, it's not always easy. I was mentioning earlier that, I had a fellow human being. I don't even know how to describe the person. Classmate, colleague, he was just a being on earth. Anyways, the kind of individual, I say that because, the kind of individual that when they walk in the room, you want to walk out. I don't know if you ever had anybody like that. They'll attack you with criticism and say what's all that's wrong with you and all the things that you do, anything that you say, they say the opposite. It seemed like they would just get up that morning and plot how they're going to get on your last nerve. I know it's personal to me. They did this to me. And I had a spiritual teacher. I was just getting involved in spirituality, and he said, you need to send that person some positive vibes every day. No matter how you feel about them, just wish them the best every day. Wish them happiness. Wish them joy. Wish them prosperity. Just do that for a couple of weeks. And of course, that was really, really hard to do because it was almost like I had to use a crowbar just to think those words toward that individual. So the first day or so was like almost impossible because, my thoughts were like, ill-intentioned, when they first came out. But he said, it doesn't matter. Just make sure at some point you just say some good things about them. Well, after a while, something changed. Something transformed within me. And it became a little easier for me to say that. And after a while, that that enmity that I had toward that person began to disappear. That nothing that that person did changed at all. But something within me had changed. My perception of that person changed. Because he let me know that because individuals that may be doing that toward other people, there's something going on within them. They're either scarred or they're scared or they're both. And that's how sometimes it just comes out. So you need to have compassion. As we read, please have compassion for us when we go through our certain stuff. Well, we have to do the same thing to other people. Now, it doesn't mean that you have to, take that person out to dinner. It doesn't mean you have to hang out with that person. But it means that you no longer send out the negative energy toward them that's adding to the confusion of the atmosphere that is around us. That's what it's all about. And as we begin to do that, we begin to change the very world in which we live. So when we hear him say, make me an instrument where there's hatred, let me sow love, it's not about a doing, it's really about a being. So when we hear Jesus say, love your enemy and pray for those that spitefully use you, even if you cannot accept it for the fact that the other person deserves it, you do it because you deserve it. You deserve it. Because if a person is upset and confused and bitter, sometimes resistant or fearful, angry because of a so-called enemy outside of them, the problem in terms of spiritual principle is that we may have that same quality within us and we begin to see that in another person. So we want to let it go. Because as we let it go, then we begin to feel better about ourselves and our world. It's not something that we have to do. It's not an obligation, we don't have to align ourselves with this loving presence that binds us all together. It's always a choice. There was a man and woman who was married for 20 years and the 20th anniversary. And, the woman woke up and, found her husband was like in a corner, like in a fetal position, crying. And she said to him, well, what's the matter, baby? And he said, I don't know if you remember this, but I think it was 20 years ago today that, when your father caught us, forced me to marry you. And he said, if I didn't marry you, that I'd have to go to jail for 20 years. I was just realizing I would have been released today. I'm just saying I just say that because I just want to say that love is not an obligation. It's a universal unity. It's our ability to think, our oneness, and remember, as Charles Fillmore said, it's what binds us together. So we want to look at some of the tactics that can help us realize that universal unity. And one of them is that we want to move away from a sense that we are simply tolerating other people. Sometimes that's a start. We've moved away from enmity and antagonism, and, now we can tolerate the person. Even if it's just for a few, minutes, 3 minutes, then you got to go. That's okay. That's a start. Because we never know where we started out with that individual. But we never want to stop there. We want to move to something a little higher where we move to a place of acceptance and realize that the universe provides all kinds of people, all kinds of diverse ways that people show up in the world. And we can begin to accept that. We wrap our spiritual arms around them. And then we have a place where maybe you can respect that individual and see how they show up in a very unusual way in the world. Maybe we can appreciate them because this is the way that the universe provides all the different ways that people can be in the world, because it's just infinite ways that we show up. And this is the way that the universe shows its infinitude, as I like to say. But the whole idea is that, as Jesus said, pray for those who spitefully use you, because he said, if you love those who love you, what reward have you there? You haven't really done anything. And I think that's why a lot of people, when they followed Jesus, when he started talking about that, they said, oh, I will follow you no more. Okay, I got to go. Talk about love those who hate me? No, I can't do that. And I think to the degree that many individuals have an active practice, sometimes they may be praying for people that they know. They pray for their friends. But Jesus challenged that sense of separation that we have created between people and say, pray for your enemies. So we may spend a lot of time praying for friends and people that we know, people that we like, but not necessarily against those, praying for those that we look at as our foes or people we don't like, people we call our enemy, the so-called other, that are on the other side of an issue. And I'm saying don't pray for your friends, particularly if I'm one of them. But we want to expand our point of view, as Deborah was saying in her meditation, to expand the circle of those individuals that we include within our prayer, those that we don't agree with. We need that so much in our world today. Like I said, it doesn't mean that you have to take them out anywhere. It's just that you begin to see that on a soul level, we're always going to be interconnected. So we want to expand our prayer practice. We want to make it a practice that we consciously embrace that individual, whether they're past, their present, or future, that we may be at odds with. When I say future, sometimes people are planning to be at odds with people. Some people right now are planning when they see someone tomorrow, they have it all mapped out in their mind, what they're going to say to them. And in some way, shape, or form, they may be saying, when I see that individual, I'm going to give them my peace of mind. And they forget that if they keep giving away their peace of mind, they won't have any mind left by the end of the week. So past, present, and future, you want to begin to break through any sense of separation. And this is one strategy that we can do to anchor that instrument of peace that we're here to be. That anchor, that quality of peace that is always in the mind of God. I was thinking about that Fillmore statement that said that love is what binds us. Love is what puts the universe together. I was part of a spiritual community years ago that had a group of people that would go to developing countries and create water wells for them that didn't have clean drinking water. And it reminded me of an article I read by some social scientists that said it would take about $40 billion a year to build water systems in every developing country, feed everyone, make sure everyone got food, everyone got shelter, everyone got basic education. $40 billion a year is what it would cost. I don't know, it was years ago. I don't know how much it is today, but he went on to say that if X number of people would just stop buying perfume and cologne for 6 months, that would be the number necessary to feed everybody in the world. It's interesting. I'm not saying to stop buying cologne or anything, just an analogy. But perhaps the Spirit of God is calling on us to realize our oneness and to take it to that next level, to take that sense of connectiveness to another level. It says in that scriptural reference that love bears all things, believes all things, hopes all things, endures all things. It will require to make a radical choice in our life. I think when we do that, we discover something. We find ourselves breaking away from the prevailing thought of competition, the prevailing thought of working against one another, fighting against one another, where we think in a limited amount of good is only here. Instead, we open up to the realization that we are indeed spiritual beings, not spiritual doings, not spiritual gettings. If we begin to absolutely wake up to that and then practice that love ethic, being those instruments that St. Francis spoke about, we transform not only where we are, but the very planet in which we live. I always like to leave just one simple practical tool that we can practice every day to be those instruments of the divine that we're here to be. And I think it's just to be careful with what we say. How do we talk? How do we talk about each other? What do we say to one another? In the scripture, it says that the tongue is described in several ways to show the power of it. Even though it's the smallest organ in the body, it yields the greatest power. It says, beware the tongue, it reads. It's described as the rudder of a boat. It's a small piece, but it steers everything. How we speak to others, how we speak to ourselves, creates an energy field of what our experiences will be. It says that there's a molecule that follows everything we say. Eknath Warren's talked about the idea when we say something kind toward another individual that we may be at odds with, it not only affects maybe the relationship between those two, but it begins to spread to others around them. So we ask ourselves, what are we constructing? What do we say about others? So I like to say oftentimes, whatever we say, they get the carbon copy, we keep the original anyway. So be careful about what we say. This is the time we're living in that we need individuals to come together, to express that divine love toward one another that binds us together, to take care of one another, to work in creative ways to make sure that every person born on this planet has their needs met, educationally and otherwise. And that's what we need in this world today. I think whenever we come to a spiritual community or any kind of spiritual path, we're coming to a vortex of change and transformation. That every spiritual community worth its salt is not about trying to fit us into our society. It's about trying to change the society by changing the person, by changing ourselves, by transforming ourselves. That's why we sing every week, let there be peace on earth and let it begin with me. So we heed that statement from St. Francis of Assisi that make me an instrument. Where there is hatred, let me sow love. Because we are the ones who will do what is right, what is grateful, what is gracious, what is loving, what is within our power. That is rooted in spiritual principle that is about compassion and service and generosity. So that we bring individuals into our life with a whole new conversation. And if we can begin to do that, then perhaps when we read the news, instead of reading about pockets of terror and violence around the world or in the country, we'll begin to read about pockets of peace and harmony and love. That will be springing up around the world will be pockets of prayer. I think to hold such a high awareness of the possibility of humankind through our prayer work, by being instruments of this presence, we create the conditions for something more powerful, more aligned with the presence of God to occur. So I just say that, ladies and gentlemen, extraterrestrials, the time is now. The place is wherever we happen to be those instruments of divine love that St. Francis of Assisi talked about. Peace and blessings to you. And of course, next week we're going to continue on his message of St. Francis of Assisi to talk about being instruments of giving. But we have an opportunity to demonstrate that in this moment by preparing our tithes, our love offerings, and our gifts to support this community, to be a container for those who are on their way for their own change in life and transformation or upliftment, and to remember and help remind them of who and what they really are, as well as ourselves. So understand it's more than us, but those around us. And as more and more people are lifted up and transformed, we make a difference in our community and our world. So let's say our offertory blessing together. Divine love, as me, blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, and all that I circulate. Thank you, God.
I'm waiting for Russell because he starts the song off. Come on down, Russell. I'll bring a little mood in here. I'll bring a little atmosphere.
Colors of the rainbow, all voices of the wind. Every hand that reaches out to find where love begins. Every word of every story, every star in every sky, every corner of creation lives to testify. For as long as I shall live, I will testify to love. I'll be a witness in the silences when words are not enough. With every breath I take, I will give thanks to God above. For as long as I shall live, I will testify to love. From the mountains to the valleys, from the rivers to the sea, every hand that reaches out, every hand that reaches out to offer peace, every simple act of mercy, every step to kingdom come, all the hope in every heart will speak what love has done. For as long as I shall live, I will testify to love. I'll be a witness in the silences when words are not enough. With every breath I take, I'll give thanks to God above. For as long as I shall live, I will testify to love.
Mountains to the valleys, rivers to the sea, and it reaches out to all of peace. Simple like the earth, the kingdom come. Every heart will speak what love has done. Colors of the rainbow, voices of the wind, dream that reaches out where love begins. Word of every story, star in every sky, corner of creation, testify.
I will testify, all my life I'll testify. And every breath I take, I'll give thanks to God above. For as long as I shall live, I will testify to love. For as long as I shall live, I will testify to love. I'll be a witness in the silences when words are not enough. With every breath I take, I will give thanks to God above. For as long as I shall live, I will testify to love. As long as I shall live, I'll testify, testify. All my life I'll testify. Every breath I take, give thanks and testify, testify. For as long as I shall live, I will testify to love. I'll be a witness in the silences. Words are not enough. With every breath I take, I will give thanks to God above. For as long as I shall live, I will testify to love. For as long as I shall live, I will testify to love. I'll be a witness in the silences when words are not enough. With every breath I take, I will give thanks to God above. For as long as I shall live, I will testify to love.
Testify to love. Well, we bless these tithes, these love offerings, knowing they're giving from the consciousness of divine and perfect love, because that's what really giving is. And so we're grateful for all those who have contributed here to make a difference in this community and our world. And so it is, and so we let it be. Amen. And with that, let us join together as we sing our peace song.
Let
And now let us say our